Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever in the world you are. I'm excited. I can talk loud, and so I'm going to. No one else is around, and I'm not going to bother anybody, and I'm not going to have to whisper for a few minutes at least. Babies are trying to sleep. Let's get on with it. I want to tell you today how much I appreciate you being here and watching this show. And please, if you never share, if you never like, if you never subscribe, the fact that you have clicked on this video and have watched this far, you deserve a cookie. If I could get one to you, I would. As a matter of fact, if you want to email me your address or something like that, I will mail you a cookie and a gold star. That's no joke. I'll do it. I don't care where you are. Anywhere in the world, I'll find a way to get you a cookie and a gold star. You just let me know who you are and how to get it to you. All because you're watching this program. It means a lot to me. Now, I also want to use this episode to give you 4 reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4. For those of you in other countries, 1, 2, 3, 4. And those of you who might be in Germany, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? That's all the languages I know. 4 reasons why I like Jesus better than Santa Claus. Okay, let me be clear. This is not going to be a Santa Claus bashing video. I'm not one of those types of preachers. I'm not a legalist, If you want to teach your kids about Santa Claus, fine. That's between you and the Lord. If you want to believe in Santa Claus, hey, there are a lot of things that are, conspiracy theories that are proving to be true. So it's like, Santa Claus still could be out. I mean, they haven't found Bigfoot yet, but my daughters believe he's out there, and I kind of do too. Loch Ness Monster, they never found the Loch Ness Monster, but you got to explain some of the things that have happened. So it's like Santa Claus may be out there. I just think that his coverage area is limited. I would appreciate if he would expand. Maybe he could hire some other Santa helpers, and maybe, have you ever thought about how old the deer are? I mean, good grief. The reindeer have got to be getting on up there. I don't know how long reindeer live. But what's a reindeer's year worth? Like a dog is, they say, is 7 years. 1 year is equal to 7 years for a dog. What's a reindeer? They've got to be getting old and tired of flying around. Does Santa Claus breed any more reindeer? That's a good question. I've never heard anybody ask. Maybe you have an answer. And if he does breed, can he not subcontract? Can he get somebody else in other places to do this work? What about Pakistan? What about Nigeria? What about Uganda? Are there not places that Santa could at least spare one deer, one skinny, helper, put on a red outfit? His beard can only be as long as mine. Doesn't have to be any longer than that. Doesn't have to be big and flowing. And just, fly over and drop some candy canes out. Just throw out a little, maybe even a fruit bar or something. People over there's a lot of them that would be happy with that. So it's like, just do some subcontracting, raise some more reindeer, make a few more sleds. You can do it. Honestly, Santa Claus, because you've had long enough to work. You've gone from making toys out of wood to making Xboxes and PlayStations. And you do all of that at the North Pole. Surely you could come up with a plan to reach some other places in the world with a few more things, more than a stick. Okay? So, why do I like Jesus so much more than Santa Claus? Number 1, Santa Claus says, you better not cry. You've heard it before. It's one of those rules in the song. It's clearly stated. You better not pout. You better not cry. You better not, I can't remember the words. They're interchangeable, I think. But you're not supposed to shout. You're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to pout. And I'll tell you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Well, we do know that Jesus is coming back. He said that he would. But in the meantime, You know what Jesus says? Go ahead and cry. Santa Claus is making a threat saying, if you cry, if you pout, if you whine, if you doubt, if you get your feelings hurt, if you got something to complain about, I don't want to hear it. And if you do, I'm not going to stop by your house and drop off anything. You're just going to have some coal, which in some places would be a good thing. There's some places that are cold. There's some places that could use some stuff to cook some food. So go ahead, tick Santa off. Get him to bring you a bag of coal. It might do you some good. But anyway, Jesus says, cast all your cares upon me, because I care for you. 1 Peter 5, verse 7, casting all your cares upon him, for he careth for you. Aren't you glad Jesus isn't like Santa Claus? Aren't you glad Jesus doesn't say, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you cry. No. Believe it or not, God collects our tears in a bottle. Every tear is precious to God. Number 2, if you've ever been to a shopping mall, you know what I'm about to say. Or maybe you don't, but you might not be psychic. Okay. But if you've ever been to a shopping mall and you've ever gone to visit Santa when he visits pre-Christmas Eve, what do you encounter? You have to wait in line, sometimes forever, to see Santa Claus just for a few moments. And then you're pushed away. Ready? Next. I'm so glad that Jesus isn't that way, aren't you? As a matter of fact, Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16 says, let us therefore come boldly before the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace and to help in the time of need. What a difference, don't you think? You have to wait in line to see Santa sit on his lap and just tell him, well, I want a talking baby doll, or I want a train set, or whatever. Or maybe, Santa, I would really like my dad to come home for Christmas. I want my parents to get back together. I would like to have electricity to power my train set that I got last year. Whatever you want to talk to Santa about. You only have just a few seconds and then it's over. But Jesus is as close as the mention of his name. Come boldly before the throne of grace. Santa Claus is typically sitting on a big throne, big chair, Jesus, he says, you don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to stand in line. You can come directly into the throne room and just tell me what's on your mind. And you don't have to leave anytime soon. We can sit and talk a while. I like that part about Jesus a lot. Number 3. So the third thing that I like more about Jesus than I do Santa Claus is that even though Santa Claus tries, I get it. Santa Claus does the best with what he has. But this whole idea of putting stuff in old socks hanging by the fireplace, what's the point? Where did that come from? I'm sure there's some history there. If you know the history of the socks beside the fireplace drying, I guess somebody think about how gross that is. If you really, think about the first Christmas where people started doing this. They've been hanging up their socks to dry by the fireplace after they've been washed, their stockings. Next thing they know, they wake up on Christmas morning and there's fruit in their stockings that they've had to wash somewhere in the cold. And they've hung them up to dry inside, not outside. The optics of that are not that great. You got cold, damp socks with treats in them. Happy, Merry Christmas to you. But when everything's dry, everything's all decorated, everything's beautiful, still, Santa Claus comes and leaves treats, little goodies, little treats, in our stockings, hung on the mantle with care. But treats don't last long. And normally the treats that you get are probably not good for you, unless some, Adventist or, vegetarian type of person wants to put an orange or a piece of celery in your stocking. Other than that, it's chocolate, candy, sweets, even a peppermint stick. It's not, these aren't exactly great things. So what does Jesus do that's better than that? Philippians chapter 4, verse 19 says, "But my God shall supply your need according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus." Santa fills your stocking with treats, but Jesus supplies all your needs. Jesus is funny that way. Is that sacrilegious to say that? No, but he knows exactly what we need. He knows what we want. There's no question about that. He knows the things that will make us smile and the little sweet things that we'd like to have in life. And sometimes he gives those to us, but other times he gives us what we need. And that's far more important. Santa doesn't do that, at least not normally. So, point to Jesus. Number 4. Here's the last thing. Last reason why I just like Jesus more than Santa Claus. Again, not bashing Santa Claus, but Santa is limited in his ability to spread Christmas cheer. Because Santa, as good as this may sound, Santa is well known for putting gifts underneath your Christmas tree. Aside from coming in uninvited, yeah, he's coming, but you've never actually seen him in person, and yet you're allowing him to come into your house and wander around, put stuff in stuff, and all this stuff, drink your milk, eat your cookies, and you trust him? A little weird, don't you think? But nevertheless, Santa Claus puts gifts under your tree. That's a great thing, especially if it's something that you wanted. And if it's something you need, that's great too. What would I like for Christmas this year? I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, like a Jubilee or something like that.
This is on I got to put this on my list right here. But I don't have friends that have pockets that deep, so I'm just going to keep wishing. Okay. So, all right. So Santa Claus leaves gifts under our tree. How's that a bad thing? Well, it's not a bad thing, but it's not the best thing. So what's the best thing? Why is Jesus so much better? Why do I like Jesus so much better than Santa Claus? If Santa's the one who gives me gifts under the tree. Well, quite simply, Jesus became our gift, and he died on a tree. John 3:16, you know this verse, don't you? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. That's a gift. That whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Santa Claus brings gifts, puts them under the tree. The wrapping paper, it's always really nice, and we appreciate that. But the wrapping paper, once it's gone and all the glitter's gone, whatever the gift is, it wears out. It loses its shine and shimmer. But what Jesus did for us was when he gave himself, became sin for us, took upon our sin on the cross, became sin, having it nailed to the tree that he created, so that we would not have to die in our sin if we put our faith in Jesus Christ. And then him rising again 3 days later from the dead so that we can have eternal life. That means the gift that we get from Jesus never going to wear out. It's always going to be what we need. It's always going to be what we want. We're always going to enjoy it. Nothing in the world or in the whole universe will ever be able to outdo it or to come out with a new model. We've got the best there ever was, ever is, and ever will be in Jesus. So I would encourage you, think a little bit more about what you have in Jesus than that temporary, although welcome, relationship with old St. Nick. Have a great day, have a great evening, have a great morning. Until our next video, we'll see you then. God bless.